is the biggest mistake to avoid in your 30s to have a good life in your 40s? Story 1. All the old people have been telling you about your whole life. Lift with your legs, not your back. Brush your teeth. Floss. Invest in a retirement fund. Spend time with your family. Travel. Read. Vote. Wear sunscreen. Exercise regularly, etc. If elderly people do it, it probably matters. Story 2. Being in a relationship or marrying someone who is totally wrong for you. I see brilliant, promising, and good people ruin their lives in their 40s because they chose the wrong partner. Story 3. Losing your functional mobility. I do a lot of kettlebells now, and I've discovered that my balance has atrophied since my youth. Feels good to reclaim it. Story 4. I know this is a very capitalist thing to say, but you need to fight like to earn more money. Don't just get complacent with a low-paying job. Improve yourself, learn new skills, and get to whatever level is going to let you really enjoy life. So many problems can be solved with a bigger paycheck, and lots of people sell themselves short and just assume that they have to be stuck in lower-wage jobs. Story 5. Stay faithful to your partner. A lot of men find their life partners in their early to mid-20s. By the time your mid-30s roll around, you're both just going through the motions, and that one wink from the cute coworker can undo your entire 40s if you stray. It's never worth it. There are a sea of men who always say, "I wish I wouldn't have that relationship up." I'm in my mid-40s now. I know at least 2 guys I had grown up with, one a close friend, that have literally died from alcoholism. And the rest of us guys looking around at each other thinking, could have happened to any of us, honestly, the way we all used to act. I guess my point is, alcohol is fun. It's a fun thing to do with your friends. It's easy for it to become the reason you get together with those friends. But beware of a slippery slope down a dangerous path where you go from overdrinking out of wanting to be life of the party, to drinking casually all week and binge drinking on the weekends, to frequent constant heavy drinking even when you're alone, to full-blown dependency with your life and health spiraling out of control. The path is a lot shorter than you might think to your friends coming to your hospital room one by one to say goodbye. And some of them say later that they never had any idea how bad it had gotten with you. Story 6. Limiting yourself because of anxiety or fears. Time goes by fast. It's important to prioritize what you like and what you want in life. You really want something but you keep postponing it because it stresses you out? Yeah, that. Just do it. You will be grateful that you did. Story 7. I think it becomes clear in most people's 30s if they will keep their bodies in shape through the rest of their lives. Many fit people in their 20s gained 50 pounds in their 30s that never went away. Story 8. Addictions, criminal records, poor health or financial habits, i.e., debts rather than savings. In your 30s, you need to be taking a longer-term view of most things. Story 9. Mistake. Continuing to eat like you're in your 20s. You don't have to go on some crazy diet. Just stop eating such much junk and change small things like getting more vegetables every so often. Start cooking at home. Look up quick, easy, healthy meals and try making them. Even doing that one more time a week than you did in your 20s will start to have an impact. Just keep making small steps, and by the time you hit 40, you will be eating a lot healthier before your metabolism crashes and you start packing on weight like it's a full-time job. Story 10. Pretty much the same advice applies lifelong. Exercise to maintain a pain-free body. Try to eat a reasonably healthy diet. Get 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. Protect your hearing. Buy some foam earplugs and use them when doing yard work, using power tools. Even going to concerts if you're close enough to the speakers. I learned this too late and have noticeable hearing loss in my 40s. Story 11. Your teeth. Get cleanings every 6 months. Floss regularly and don't drown yourself with excessive amounts of soda and sugary coffee. You hit 40 and your teeth start disintegrating if they haven't been cared for. This is also the time to start thinking about retirement planning. Story 12. One mistake: getting into too much debt, spending too much, not saving. In your 30s, you have 30 years to retirement. After that, it starts coming at you fast. Getting a good retirement savings going allows it to double 2 to 4x just by growth and returns. If you get enough debt in your 30s that you'll need to spend your 40s paying it off, you'll have trouble saving in your 40s, while also likely having more people relying on you, more obligations, and being less able to suffer to save. Once you have kids, getting roommates is more complicated. Once you are caring for elderly parents, getting a second job is more complicated. 2. Mistake: physical degeneration, not caring for yourself. In your 30s, the soreness from working out will last less time, and your exercise will have faster, more visible results than in your 40s. It isn't like 42-year-olds are falling apart. But it starts to get really noticeable by 45 that some people are aiming for an early death, and others seem in the prime of life. Go to the doctor, exercise, etc. 3. Mistake: Not having a definition of the good life that can continue for your next 30 years. If a good life means drinking with friends 4 nights a week, partying, crashing, you are going to find it harder and harder to do, both physically and friends to do it with. The good life that is rewarding for most people takes some hard work and sacrifice early on, so identify what that is for you and do the work. Date with intention to find a partner, have kids, and care for them when they are little. And needy, learn and get good at a marketable skill. Build a community of like-minded people, learn how to resolve conflicts. You'll see at 40 that some people have stable lives, friends, relationships, and are on a path to achieving what they want, and others are just waking up. Story 13. You should make sure you have a backup plan if your country falls into a white supremacist dictatorship. Maybe learn Spanish or save up enough to buy property in Asia. Story 14. Paying so much attention to your career that you don't spend the time you need to with your family. I'm especially referring to your children if that's your situation. This is the decade that will end up blessing or hurting you and them for the rest of your life. Story 15. If you start to have a health problem, get it looked at and treated early before it turns into something else. I lost friends to cancer in their 30s and early 40s. I saw people lose their health because of problems they didn't treat. I saw people become unwell with chronic illnesses. Your body isn't as resilient as it was when you were younger, and there is a bunch of stuff that might start to go wrong. Look after yourself better and don't let problems spiral if you can help it. Story 16. Avoiding tough conversations and tough decisions. Trust me, the more tough conversations you have in your 30s, the easier life will get in 40s. Career, kids, stability, all thrive when you are willing to take risk. Story 17. As a 33-year-old learning this, let no one tell you no. Take that trip. Do the risky move. Follow your gut. Listen to your heart. And yes, screw people who say your life is over at 30. They can eat. The only thing I wish I could do right now is get moving. Story 18. Lifestyle creep. I think most of my friends and myself started really making decent money and moving up in our careers in our 30s and actually had some disposable income for the first time. Some bought expensive cars, designer bags, expensive vacations and new clothes for every event, expensive concerts and festivals, eating out constantly, etc. And fewer of us chose investing, saving, and not going to a lot of the concerts and trips or shopping sprees. I can definitely say that the smart savers and less flashy money spenders are having a much better time now that we are all approaching 40. I'm not saying don't enjoy your earnings or don't have fun. I go on maybe 25 of the girls' trips. They take a lot of trips. I don't own anything designer, but I bought a nice car that I enjoy and paid off early. I have a beautiful house that will be paid off in 10 years, well before I retire. I go out to the girls' dinners, but I don't buy a lot of alcoholic drinks or extras and try to stay in budget. I'm maxing out my retirement and paying off my house faster and just paid off my student loans. Then I listen when they stress about finances and how much debt they're in and how they haven't started saving for retirement. And I know I'm making the right choices. Not always the most fun route, but I'm not as stressed financially as a lot of my peers. Have fun and enjoy life, but plan for your future as well. Story 19. Not starting a retirement account. Do it. Even $10 a paycheck, or 5. The more the better. Do it every week and you will not even notice it. Story 20. Well, I got sober at 34 and really started cleaning my life up in my mid-30s. I'm 43 now, and I went from a couch potato to an endurance athlete. I love to travel. I love to paint. I have money and investments, and I have early retirement on the horizon, which I didn't before. I also have huge plans for the next 5 years and the next 10. And all these goals that I am super excited to attack, and life just didn't have that kind of excitement when I was drinking. Story 21. For me, it's health-based. Take care of yourself, don't eat like, exercise regularly, drink less, etc. Honestly, that's good advice for your 20s too, but in your 20s you can do all of that and essentially get away with everything. In your 30s, you can still do all of it and think you're getting away with it. But you're really not. And you're setting yourself up for some uncomfortable realities and doctor's conversations into your 40s if you don't get your together. Once you hit your 40s, you're not going to be able to eat whatever you want or neglect sleep or drink too much regardless. Things will catch up with you much faster in real time. Your 30s is the sweet spot where your body thinks it's in your 20s in the moment but will make you pay for it later. Don't let it. Story 22. Credit cards. Just don't do it. One and be done. Don't max it and pay every month as though your life depends on it. Trust me, it does. You future self will thank you. Story 23. Don't forget to exercise, be it through a gym or a hobby or whatever. You might turn 30 and think I look pretty good, but that is simply not enough. It's not just that your body will take longer to heal or you'll put on weight a little too easily. It's a mental game that gets really tough. It should be something you prioritize. In addition, Don't let yourself become sedentary. Different theme, but as important. Make memories by being present in the moment. Put your phone away. Put your laptop away. Talk to your friends. Be with people. These things go away and they get replaced by various devices. Don't let that happen. Story 24. Take an honest look at yourself. If you have multiple toxic relationships, the issue might very well be you. Find a therapist and try to unlock the root causes. Story 25. Buy a home if you can swing it, and have expectations of living in a particular area long-term. Real estate ownership is a hedge against inflation and high consumer interest rates. Tax treatment is generally on your side. Story 26. Keep moving and stretch. In your 40s, you really begin to notice stiffness sadly. Ask someone in their 30s to bend down and pick up something off the ground. They'll probably do it by just bending over and not skipping a beat. Now ask someone in their 40s. You'll probably notice they'll dip down instead of bending. Aging sucks. Story 27. In time, most friends become as useless as relatives. A line from the film, Georgia Rule. I haven't spoke to my siblings in years, nor my biological mother. I couldn't even recognize the sound of their voices. The best thing I've done for myself was learn that I'm deserving of respect and I'm capable of achieving the life and lifestyle of my choosing. My advice would be to let go and pursue your interest responsibility. Story 28. All great advice. I would maybe add, don't think growing up means not enjoying. I think it happens a lot with disastrous results. Is how adults play? Enjoy it. Avoid credit card debt. Story 29. Not saving enough towards retirement in my 20s and 30s. Tighten your belt and try to put 20 away, preferably Roth IRA. If you do that at MEan, retirement can come early and comfortably. Story 30. Stop smoking, reduce your drinking, and daily exercise. You don't need to join a gym. You just need to exercise daily. Morning exercises, walking more, take the stairs, stretching will give you many extra years of mobility. Story 31. Putting literally any amount of money for retirement. I think retirement felt so far away in my 30s, but very real in my 40s. The magic of compound interest would have really reduced my stress load in my 40s for sure. I'm opening a Roth IRA for my teen this summer, and am going to deposit the equivalent of their summer job income to start them off. Story 32. Don't stop exercising. If you have an exercise routine that works for you, then keep doing it. If you don't have something that works, find something and make it a habit. I up by letting my different exercise classes drop one by one without anything to replace them, and then someone close to me died. I ate my feelings and gained too much weight to drop easily, and I'm still trying to get back to where I was. I'm sure that's why my back went out and my hip and my shoulder. Ugh, lol. Story 33. The biggest mistake to avoid in your 30s to have a good life in your 40s is waiting till your 30s to start thinking about it. Start in your 20s. Source am 48. Waited till my 30s. Regret. Story 34. Don't have kids unless you 1. Don't have any undesirable genetic traits, and 2. Have plenty of money. Otherwise, you risk bringing a disadvantaged person into the world, which is a terrible feeling. When I look at my teen kids, I see my own shortcomings. It hurts. Story 35. Debt. You'll likely be well into your career, making decent money, and get the urge to spend instead of save. Next thing you know, you're drowning in debt, no savings. God forbid the economy take a or something else happens to your health or job. Start saving like yesterday. Story 36. Stretch. Right now. Don't drink, smoke vape, or do drugs, rare mushrooms, and THC might be harmless. Avoid these things completely for the best life overall. Story 37. Mistakes to avoid. Not paying attention to your health. Not advancing your earning potential career or business. 40s is much harder to start some things. Marrying the wrong person. Focusing too much on good times. Nothing wrong with some, just don't make it your main thing. I made mistakes 2 and 4 and didn't work much on 1. I'm lucky so far. Health is okay. Never married. Career earning isn't, but I don't need much. Story 38. I'm in construction, 15 years. I wish I was as diligent when I started about taking care of my hearing. My tinnitus isn't the worst, but it's definitely present at all times. Story 39. Don't get married. No need whatsoever. Have partner, get kids, forget weddings. Useless spending of money, totally pointless. One step closer to divorce. Story 40. Pay into your pension, especially if your employer matches up to X. Obviously, the real impact will be in your 60s and later, but it takes the stress away from having to save super hard and aggressive from your 40s onwards to make up time and value. Story 41. Assuming you know everything. I guess it's worth avoiding at any point in life. Still, it seems common that many people reach 30 and think they've learned all there is and are less open to change going forward. The only thing I know is that I know nothing, Socrates. Story 42. Exercise regularly. Make it as easy as possible to do this by going to the gym nearest to you or taking a walk around the block for 15-20 minutes a day. Consistency is key. Eat better. Have more variety in your meals. Try different veggies, fruits, grains, etc. Also, it's easier to make edits to what you already eat than to change it up altogether. You like white rice? Try quinoa. You enjoy toast in the morning? Rye or pumpernickel is higher in fiber and lower in carbs. You like fried foods? Get an air fryer and use olive oil. Save and invest. Open a Roth IRA and put as much as you can in every month. Same with a high-yield savings account. Don't move the money yourself either. Automate it using your bank's bill pay feature. It's easier when you don't have to think about it. Eliminate debt. Avoid consumer debt like the plague credit cards, car payments, buy now, pay later, etc. If you insist on a credit card, pay it off in full every month. If that's difficult to do, then you aren't a credit card person and that's okay. Debt robs your future self of financial flexibility and options, and you never know how things will turn out. They might need it more than you do. Better quality relationships. Learn how to be okay with walking away from people that make you feel less than or uneasy. You won't shrivel up and die, I promise. Also, try and take lessons from every experience. What could you have done better? What will you be more aware of in the future? Story 43. Please, if you haven't started in your 20s investing into your 401k, then start right this second. And at the very least, get the full match from your employer. The sooner you start, the richer you'll be. A 20-year-old investing $5K, annually $200 per check and stops at 30, then never invests another dollar, should have more than double the person just starting out in their 40s, investing $5K per year until retirement. Now imagine if you put some focus into it. Compounding interest only works with time. Time is the key here. Start now. Story 44. Taking care of your SO, whether it be taking care of their family, health, and even just your relationship. Your spouse will be the biggest asset you have as you get older. Invest in it. Story 45. Absolutely good question. One of the biggest mistakes to dodge in your 30s is coasting. Like, just going through the motions thinking there's still tons of time to figure things out later. That mindset sneaks up on you. Your 30s are kind of like the halftime show. It's still early, but the game's definitely started. So if you're not being intentional, whether it's with your money, health, relationships, or even how you spend your free time, it'll catch up by your 40s. And not in a fun way. Just try not to put stuff off thinking future. You will magically figure it all out. Story 46. Stay off of ranty work and wealthy at every size, and any community that tells you your problems are the world's fault and you don't need to change. The last thing you need is to demotivate yourself in an increasingly irrational and competitive world. It's going to get ugly and you need to be super sharp. Story 47. Probably staying in a low-earning position for too long. In the 20s, one can earn below their potential because it is a stage of learning and exploring. In the 30s is when you start to compete with the 20s and 40s for normal positions. So by 40s, you need to create value and have a skill set, soft or hard, that puts you at a higher value chain. If you don't improve in your 30s in many ways, it would be a lot more difficult to make your 40s comfortable, and by extension the 50s. It is cumulative by then. Emo the 30s is when you have to make the big life decisions well, choose well, use time well, navigate well. But there is no foresight in life, just gotta keep the thinking skills and decision-making skills sharp all the way through life. Good luck to all. Story 48 things I'm learning as a 36-year-old male heading to the 40s. 1. Never stay up past midnight, ever. 2. If you're going to have social drinks or date nights, start before 8 p.m. and follow Rule 1-3. If you have kids' activities I coach, don't plan anything with your partner after them. You will be too tired mentally stimulated to fully commit, and it doesn't end well. 4. Try to stay moving. Oil for the Tin Man is real, and if you don't, you will notice your body start to seize up in certain places. 5. You will go through a phase where it feels like you're back in high school due to children's sports cliques. Stay TF away from that. It will ruin your mental health. I was in, now I'm out, because I had differing opinions than the central clique leader. And be fine with that decision. It's best for you. 6. Tack on from 5. Prioritize your family at all times. Do not get caught trying to keep up with people and hooked into short-term gain for long-term stress. Socially intelligent people will use you as a proxy to get things they want. 7. Enjoy the years while your kids are young. I got a 12-year-old, and I take every hug, every opportunity to play catch, and every conversation I can get as he transitions to his friends for his support system. 8. Make sure you set aside time for you and your partner, if you have one, or just yourself, to do me things. Something that brings you joy, fishing, a hotel night away, take your partner shopping, or do things that you both enjoy together. Make it a ritual. That one-day weekend can carry you a long way. 9. Do not push away your extended family. Make time for them. They miss you too, even when you are wrapped up in all the things above, and sometimes talking to people you know are generally invested in your well-being is so important. 10. Reclaim peace. It's underappreciated to just be comfortable. Stay on top of your bills. Make sure you and your partner are on the exact same page. Sacrifice when needed, but make sure you are living in an environment that itself isn't causing you stress. I'd rather have a fridge full of groceries than a payment for a toy that's sitting in my yard. Story 49. Focus on your health if you haven't made it a priority in your 20s. Kind of a pivotal time to start healthy habits that will hopefully stay with you for the rest of your life. Limit alcohol and shitly food. Story 50. This is really the last decade where 1. You can lean into your career and really accelerate, and 2. You get the compounding gains from investments since retirement is 30 years away. Story 51. Drinking, smoking, doing drugs. Not being active, having bad eating habits. I'm over 40, and when I look around me, that's what I see most of the time. People my age, women or men, looking poorly because one or more of these bad habits. Story 52. Save as much as you can for retirement. If you aren't married with kids' responsibilities that cost a ton, like mortgage and childcare, you can set your future self up in a way your future self will have a harder time doing. Time in market and compound interest are not to be underestimated. Sacrifice the petty stuff. Story 53. The habits you have in your 30s will be the habits you have in your 40s. If you eat healthy, exercise, keep friendships you want to keep, and have a budget financial plan, that is what you will take into your 40s. In your 30s is when you make an effort to stay friends with married friends, especially married friends in other cities. Or if you move for work, keeping friendships going takes work. And family who live in other states or other cities, you have to call or FaceTime occasionally. Story 54. Don't quit your current job until you have another job. It's too easy to get stuck and not be able to get employment because you're unemployed. The money issues arise, and that can make everything fall apart, bad choices be made, and so on. Story 55. Take care of your body. In your 30s, it's hard to picture having aches that last more than 24 hours. Or an injury now that heals in a few weeks will take a few months in your 40s. Learn healthy eating and exercise habits now. It'll pay dividends in the decades to come. Story 56. At age 30, we will lose about 0.5 to 1 of muscle mass per year. You better start lifting weights on a regular basis to keep your muscles, or even push yourself a bit harder and gain some muscles. Story 57. Los 30 son clave para construir una buena base financiera, dejar de acumular deudas, ahorrar, planificar retiro y evitar la inflación de estilo de vida te aseguran libertad después. Story 58. Having kids, if you're poor? That's always a bad idea, but if you're young, you might be able to absorb the blow before your 40s if you're somewhat financially literate. Story 59. Defo drinking. Drugs, including weed, smoking, too much fast food, products on face or filler, etc. You will look old by 40 if you have that lifestyle and will get health issues early on. What you do now determines your future. Look after your health now. Story 60. Marry the right woman. Someone who eases your stress, supports your goals through actions, not just words, ideally has a strong career of her own, and is someone you can laugh with. Story 61. Not developing hobbies and friends who like those hobbies. Being friends with only coworkers or the parents of your kids' friends. Not having people to share the stuff you enjoy doing can be depressing.